The strangers, believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, neath the pale moon. Loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my body. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind. tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
Sorry guys, I'm watching a live stream with Milo at the moment. Milo and Saigon on live stream. God, it's funny. Alright, so don't worry, I'm going to stop the live stream. I have sent them a super chat asking about what their thoughts on about a free platform. I was kind of hoping he might answer it before we got into the show, but regardless. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's just jump straight into it. I will post the link to that for you guys if you want to go and check it out after the live stream. Sorry, that's not it. It's that one. So, yeah. I'll remove that first comment so it's wrong. There we go. Alright. Apart from that, yes, let's kick off the news. Let's kick the puppy, so to speak. But yeah, it's actually quite funny watching the banter between Milo and Sargon of Akkad. So yeah. All right. I still haven't found Satellite, so I don't know where he is up to or what he's doing. But yeah. Let's just kick it off, and obviously, Satellite, if you're in, you can jump in. If not, then I'll see you in chat or later, whatever it may be. But let's just kick this puppy. Alright, and probably we're going to be upset because I'm saying kick the puppy now, probably. Funny story, Steven Crowder did a thing where he had to go through and, what was it, Steven Crowder, sorry? It was one of the late night shows. They did a thing where the hawk comes down and grabs the kitten as an animated GIF. And they had to put the parachute on the kitten coming back after because people would have got upset about the hawk taking the kitten. That's an animated GIF. Like, work that out, will you? Can't what I tell you. And this is a while ago. And this is the same people that sit there and push the progressive agenda online now, on TV stations now. So work that one out. But anyway. I suppose you can't beat them, join them, right? Alright, so House Secretary Mnuchin denies Trump's House Democrats... Well, actually, their live stream's almost finished, so they're wrapping it up now. So, yeah. But anyway, Treasury Senate Mnuchin denies House Dems' request for Trump's tax returns. So, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, by the time we're finished this, they probably would have buffered their video, so you can go and watch it after that. In a letter on Monday, denied House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal's request for President Trump's tax return, saying the request lacked a legitimate legislative purpose. Savio recognised the committee's request is unprecedented and is present serious constitutional request as a resolution in which we may be lasting consequences for all taxpayers, the letter said. Mnuchin told the Massachusetts Democrat he relied on the advice of the Justice Department. He concluded the department was not authorized to disclose the request returns and return information. The Department of Justice has informed us that it intends to memorialize its advice in a published legal opinion as soon as practicable of our respect for the deadliest previous set by the committee. The consent was with our committee to a prompt response. I am informing you now the department may not lawfully fulfill the committee's request, the letter read. So it's basically them turning around saying, look, we've talked to the DOJ. They think this is bullshit. We're not going to give it to you. Suck a lemon, so to speak. Now, obviously mainstream media is having a bit of a field day, having a bit of a fit over this. So Stephen Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, wrote a letter. Representative E. Nils, Democrat of Minnesota, and the chairman of the House Ways Committee, same sort of thing we've already talked about. So at the end of the day, like I say, yeah, it's kind of funny. Look, to be honest, I don't think Trump should have to hand over his tax returns. Bernie Sanders hadn't handed over his until recently. And look, we know the reason why that was. Why he handed it over was most likely because he wanted to say, well, look, I've handed over mine. Now Trump can hand over his. It was a way of sort of, I don't want to say bluffing, but sort of saying, well, look, I'm going to go through and do this, so now Trump can do his. To be honest, I don't think it really cares. I don't think it really matters about Trump's tax return. I don't give two shits how much Trump does or does not pay in tax. He's constantly audited by the IRS, right? He's constantly under scrutiny from the IRS regarding his tax returns. What are we going to see that the IRS isn't going to find already? If there's anything that's ill-informed in Trump's tax returns, the professionals, which are at the IRS, presumably will find it. Okay? So at the end of the day, yeah, I'm like, IRS is looking into this. Great, terrific. It's one less thing I have to talk about. Although the Dems keep going on about it, so unfortunately I have to keep talking about it. But you get the idea. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's frustrating that they're constantly beating this dead horse. It's like the whole Russia collusion thing. It's like, really? Yeah. You're not sick of this story yet, but I suppose they're going to keep going with it, I suppose, aren't they? Hundreds of ex-prosecutors claim Trump would have been indicted if not president. I'm pretty sure they found every Democrat they could to possibly say that. Hundreds of former federal prosecutors have attached their name to a statement saying they believe President Trump would have been indicted in the Supreme Court, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's probe for obstruction of justice if he weren't president. Anyway, the names were organised and posted online Monday by an organisation called Protect Democracy, which I'm guessing has ties to Soros and whatnot, which identifies itself as a nonpartisan non-profit, yeah, sure, with an urgent mission to prevent American democracy from declining into more authoritarian form of government. Yet they probably don't say anything about the left going through and censoring people. That's funny, Trip. The Dems will say the horse is not dead, it's just extremely sleepy. That's actually true, actually. They'll sit there and then have a debate on the definition of dead and whether Russia actually colluded to kill the horse. Each of us believe that the conduct of President Trump's described in the Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report would, in case of any other person not covered by the Office of Legal Counsel policy against indicting a sitting president, result in multiple felony charges for obstruction of justice, the statement read. Here's the thing, right? And this is where they're coming at. So what the Democrats are saying is that at the end of the day, if Trump has gone through and done any form or anything that can be obstructed or seen as obstruction, then at the end of the day, that is obstruction. The problem is that the legal requirement for obstruction is obstruction, of course, that's part of it, but also the part that it has to be done willingly, not accidentally. So it has to be something that is intentionally done. For example, if I go out and obstruct a crime, for example, if I go out and steal a knife from a police crime scene, for example, just hypothetically, and I know that's a police crime scene, and I take the knife to obstruct, then I am obstructing an investigation. However, if I'm walking along the street, la-di-la-di-la-di-la-di-da, and I come across a knife and I go, oh, cool, pick it up and walk off without knowing that it's a part of a crime scene, without knowing that it's going to affect that crime scene, then that's not obstructing the crime itself. Because at the end of the day, I didn't know about it enough for it to be obstructed. You have to willingly know about a crime or be willingly complicit in obstructing that crime. And that's what you'll generally find, that when you're walking down the street, if you come across a knife or something like that, and you had no idea it was an evidence, or you just, not even a knife, say a bit of paper or a piece of evidence or something like that, and you had no idea it was part of a crime scene, and you picked it up and you walked off with it because you thought it was cool or whatever it may be, the police generally won't charge you with obstruction. Not unless they really want to go after you. Because at the end of the day, you don't have that knowledge. You don't have that foreknowledge of it being a criminal scene or deliberately obstructing a case. And that's the definition of obstruction, is to actually go through and to intentionally obstruct something. And that is what the argument is that Trump, everything that he did wasn't actually willingly obstructing. You know, and half the stuff that they've listed didn't actually even come into account. For example, he said about firing Robert Mueller, which, by the way, he was entitled to do. And he told his crew to go and fire Mueller, for example, because he was fed up with this dragging out investigation. And his team didn't do it. His team turned around and said, no, we're not going to do that. And then Trump went, and then walked off. And that was it. And that was them saying, well, he obstructed. Well, not really, because he didn't fire Mueller. You know, at the end of the day, Trump's a hothead. Yeah, sure. And at the end of the day, his cabinet or his White House advisors are there to advise him on what they think is the best way or best thing for him and his presidency. And that's what they did. They turned around and said, no, we're not going to fire Mueller, because at the end of the day, that will come across as obstruction, so we're not going to do that. And that's what they did. So, like I say, at the end of the day, I think this is a good thing. I think it's a good thing that they didn't go through and do this, and I think they were right to do that. So, look, do I think that at the end of the day, for a very long way of saying it, do I think these 100 or so prosecutors have a point? No, I think they're Democrats. I think they're desperate to get rid of Trump. They're part of the machine, the cog, the whatever you want to call it. They've been told to put their name on it, so they've done it. Chances are, for every 100 that haven't, there's probably another 100 that didn't. Okay? How many prosecutors are there in America right now? And they've got a few hundred. Okay? How many didn't sign it is the question. And you find that most of the people that signed it are probably Democratic supporters. Big surprise, they want Trump gone. So, yeah. Well, yeah. Biden mistakenly claims Margaret Thatcher, who died in 2013, is worried about Trump. There's actually a few reports that Joe Biden is actually a little bit senile. Now, I know people are going to sit there and think, oh, God, not again. You know, this is Hillary 2.0. People, I haven't seen the video. I haven't looked into it yet. I heard about this last night. But they're claiming that he's a little bit senile because of the way he's slurring his words and stuff like that. There's a few things that he's said that's gone through where he's, for example, come across as a little bit crazy. And now he's starting to reference dead people. So, unless he's going for a role in, for example, that Bruce Willis film, I see dead people. Unless he's going for a role in that, I don't think it's really going to work. But, yeah, I do think there might be a little bit of senile. He is, 70-something? So, Joe Biden, he's probably going a little bit crazy, but let's jump into it. So Democrat president candidate Joe Biden reportedly had to correct himself over the weekend after telling donors Margaret Thatcher is concerned about the United States under President Trump. Thatcher, I heard Joe Biden could be going senile too. Yeah, there's actually a few people saying that. Thatcher, a former Prime Minister of Britain, died in 2013, nearly 2 years before Trump launched his first campaign for president. According to Bloomberg News, Biden eventually corrected himself, explaining to the donors that he meant to say British Prime Minister Theresa May instead of Thatcher, blaming the mix-up on a Freudian slip. Because, that happens apparently. They look so similar too, Biden's confusing comments came Sunday during a closed-door fundraiser in Columbia, South Carolina. He listed Thatcher as one of the 14 heads of state who he claimed to have voiced concerns about Trump, the outlet reported. May has been Prime Minister since 2016. Thatcher resigned as Prime Minister in 1990, way long before Trump ever did anything. The Sixth Sense, that's right, that's the movie I was thinking of. During his fundraiser swing in South Carolina, Biden also took a page out of Trump's playbook on Saturday. When asked if he had a nickname for the president, Biden reportedly said he didn't want to get down in the muck with Trump, but if he had to choose a moniker for the current White House occupant, it would be a clown. Oh, look at that. It's so clever. That's right up there with Creepy Joe and Sleepy Eye and, corrupt Hillary and everything, Hey, Squirrel, how are you, buddy? We know the left can't meme, but seriously? What's your nickname for the president? Clown. Okay, cool. There's so many nicknames, I'm inclined to give this guy Biden. Instead, according to Politico, you can just start with Clown. Good nickname there. Great effort. Solid effort there, Biden. Senile and dirty old man. The left have low standards. Well, it's all they can use to beat Trump, I suppose. Look, at the end of the day, alright, so I've said this similar times. I'm going to say it again. By the way, guys, there's 8 people watching, so click that thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell. But I've said this before. I'll be very, very surprised if Joe Biden isn't Hillary 2.0. Crooked Hillary, that's it. That's what it was, Wolfie. Yeah, thank you. So at the end of the day, what I think is going to happen in the 2020 election is I think that the deep state is going to push Joe Biden through because he plays ball with them. He's one of their lackeys. He's Obama and stuff like that. Obama administration. So they're going to go through. They're going to push Joe Biden through. They're going to edge out people like, for example, Bernie Sanders and stuff like that. The deep state don't want any of this alt-left shit. They want middle road Democrats. They want center-left Democrats. People that are going to be in their camp that they can go through and they can declare wars on and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, yeah, they're going to want someone that is actually more like Hillary and that's center-left. People that sell out to China. And we do actually have... So... We have actually talked about Biden before, but let's talk about this again because that's something that Squirrels just mentioned. So Biden faces renewed scrutiny over son's relationship to Ukraine gas company. So not only is the son involved with China, but he's also involved with Ukraine. No conflict of interest here whatsoever. A Ukraine gas company gave a seat on its board to the son and Vice President Joe Biden in an attempt to secure relationships with the Democrat while he was under multiple investigations, according to recent New York Times reports. Biden largely took credit for pressuring Ukraine into removing its top prosecutor who was leading those probes. Ukraine recently relaunched an investigation into the company, the Times reported Wednesday, and the President Donald Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, repeatedly called for the U.S. Department of Justice to scrutinize the Bidens. So Hunter Biden, who is appointed by the 4th member of the board of Bushman Holdings, might be mispronouncing that, Ukraine's largest privately owned gas company in April 2014, The seat came while the elder Biden was serving in former President Barack Obama's administration and was slated to head relations with the Ukraine for the administration. So you've got the son going through, being put onto this board, while the father is a member of the Obama Foundation or the Obama administration, who is supposedly working on relations with Ukraine and America. No conflict of interest whatsoever regarding this at all, right? Bushma is a natural gas explorer and production company owned by Mnuchin, I'm getting that name wrong, a cabinet member of the former Ukraine President Viktor Vuncic. Vuncic was removed from his position in February 2014. He currently lives in exile in Russia and is wanted by Ukraine for high treason. Yurtskutsk later fled the country in late 2014 as Ukraine prosecutors launched an investigation into his time in public office as well as his private business. Around the same time, the UK's Serious Fraud Office froze $23 million in a London account that was linked to Oscos. A British court later unlocked the bank account in January 2015 and found no grounds for further consideration for the case. Roughly 2 years after Hunter Biden's appointment to the Bushman board, the vice president traveled to Kiev, Ukraine's capital, where he threatened that the US would withhold $1 billion in loans guarantees unless Ukraine ousted its prosecutor general Viktor Skodon in the time Shannon was accused of ignoring corruption within his own police office. So, there's no sort of collusion here. There's no sort of ties or links or anything to Ukraine and Biden or his son or anything like that. And this is just the Ukraine aspect. Apparently his son, I'll try and find the article quickly, is also linked in China. So here it is here. You guys tell me if you think that the deep state will rise rather than Trump, for example. And there's also this article. There's so much in regards to this whole China thing. But Joe Biden took his son Hunter on an official trip to China 10 days before communist regime banks signed deal with a private equity firm Biden Jr. runs with John Kerr's son, book reveals. So Joe Biden's son, Hunter, flew to China on an official visit by his father in 2013 and ended up inking a deal for his hedge fund with the Bank of China within days of the visit. Hunter Biden accompanied his father aboard Air Force Two on a visit to China, where the vice president met with Chinese President Xi Jinping. For the young Biden, also deal making on the agenda, according to Secret Empires, how the American political class hides corruption and enriches family and friends, by Peter Switz, the Breitbart editor-at-large who rocked the 2016 with disclosures about Bill and Hillary Clinton. The book excerpted in the New York Post. Also, while we're at it, Hunter Biden's firm invested in China's surveillance tech of Muslims. A report published Friday by The Intercept brought a surprise new angle to last week's revelation about the extent to China's electronic spying on the Muslims of Xinjiang province. The private equity firm of Hunter Biden and the son of Vice President and 2020 Democrat President candidate Joe Biden invested in one of the Chinese companies that created Xinjiang's surveillance state nightmare. So, that happened too, apparently. I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Any conflict of interest here, or you reckon there might be reasons to get a little bit worried about Joe Biden running as Prime Minister? What do you guys reckon? So, Not only is his son invested in a Chinese surveillance tech that was used against spying on Muslims, his son also inked himself while him and Daddy went over to China to meet with the Chinese president. You know, plus there's other stuff going on too that you could probably find as well. Like the whole China-Biden family are very, very closely linked. They are absolutely in bed with each other. So, I don't know. What do you guys reckon about that? Someone left a coffee cup in Game of Thrones shots. Oh no! Me continuity. So, what's this? Oh, it's a coffee cup. A coffee cup on the table in the Great Hall of Winterfell in the fictional, very coffeeless realm of Westeros. Sharp Eye viewers noticed the anachronism during Sunday's night's episode of Game of Thrones, and well, it's going to be a long time before anyone lets this mistake go. Each season 8 episode reportedly cost $15 million to make. Some of the fact that the grammar mocker from Starbucks, or whatever passed as many eyes, I presume it's Starbucks with the logo on there. Expert edits a very hilarious. A coffee cup is Arya Stark's level of sneaky. Twitter is convinced it's a Starbucks cup, but it really could be from anywhere computer enhanced. I think it's Starbucks. I really do think it's Starbucks. Like, if we... like that. I think that's Starbucks. What do you guys reckon? But anyway. Not one Democrat president candidate defended Israel during rockets attacks. So some of you may have heard over the weekend that Israel and Palestine decided to trade rockets with each other yet again. Since now there has been a ceasefire. But yeah, at the end of the day, they decided to fire a whole bunch of missiles at each other. Yay for peace, I suppose. But anyway, not one of more than 20 candidates for the Democratic Party president nominee in 2020 tweeted this past week about the nearly 700 rockets that Palestinian terrorists into Gaza launched against Israel over 2 days. And look, obviously, full disclosure, Israel fired back, and, it's hard to tell who fired first. I think it was actually Palestine that fired first, actually. But, yeah. The ceasefire between Hamas and the Palestine terror organization that controlled the Gaza Strip and Israel went into effect this morning. But in nearly 2 days since Palestine attacks started, killing 40 Israelis, not when Democrats saw fit to comment on social media about the subject, and there are scant signs any comments elsewhere. President Donald Trump tweeted his administration pleaded their full support for Israel's strike in self-defense. Trump tweeted. Yeah, I deliberately didn't go into the spoilers regarding Games of Thrones, so yeah, I haven't seen it either yet, don't worry. That's also why I didn't play the clip. The silence of the Democrats was first flagged by retired New York Assembly Don Hiken, who has been a fierce critic of his party and his anti-Israel draft in recent years. He tweeted, after more than 500 rockets were fired by Hamas terrorists at Israel, killing 4, not a single Democrat candidate for president has issued a statement or said a word on it. Like I say, look, to be honest, they both fired rockets at each other, so yeah, look, at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm not really, I don't know. To be honest, I think they're both as bad as each other sometimes. So, yeah. But anyway, it's news, so let's talk about it, I suppose. Cory Booker wants every gun owner to be interviewed with the federal government. Because, the first thing they did in Australia when they wanted to take away the guns was find out everybody who owns said guns. Democrat New Jersey Senator and 2020 President candidate Cory Booker proposed sweeping gun control legislation on Monday. Booker's proposal would, among other things, force Americans to have a sit-down interview with federal government employees in order to purchase a firearm. Why? What's the difference between that and a background check, I suppose? During an appearance on CNN Monday morning, Booker was asked if he supported a gun and buyback proposal like the one offered by Democrat Californian Representative Eric Swallow. A long-shot president candidate, Booker did not endorse the proposal, but said America needs to get weapons of war off the streets. What is a weapon of war, Cory Booker? Anything that fires bullets. Probably. That was probably his answer. Booker also refused to say whether he would prosecute those who refuse to comply with a gun buyback. We should have a law that bans these weapons and should have a reasonable period in which people can turn in these weapons, Booker says. When asked by CNN's Jim Scocotto, I'm not mispronouncing, how he would push his proposal through, Booker compared the persistence of gun control activists to the civil rights activists of the 1960s. Civil rights legislation failed time and time again, Booker said, but we brought in the civil rights movement like Congress had never seen. When CNN Poppy Harlow pressed Booker specifically on his mandatory interview proposal, Booker would not say who would be conducting the interview or what questions would be asked. Let's not exaggerate what this is, Booker said. This is actually really simple. We do it for passports. Do you? We don't. We do it for TSA pre-check. We do it for people that are driving cars. You have people going in and being interviewed by the FBI for getting a car license? That's new. I never knew that. Maybe he can give me an example of what he's talking about. CNN climate change segment. If we don't have fewer... Start again. CNN climate change segment. If we don't have fewer children, 1 million species will go extinct. Hey, I got an ad on my screen. Cool. So, start again. CNN climate change segment. If we don't have fewer children, 1 million species will go extinct. This is the anti-child agenda that keeps getting pushed by the left. But anyway. Monday, CNN's New Day features a segment on climate change that offered the assessment that unless humans have fewer children, up to 1 million species could go extinct. Okay, well, the most common people that have the most amount of children are in Africa and these sort of countries. So why don't we go through and we convince them not to have so many more children? Muslims population, I think they have 6 or 7 children per family. Maybe we can convince them to drop it down to like 1 or 2. Just saying. You know, it's what they want, right? Pointing to the United Nations report claiming human rights activity could cause mass extinctions. I've heard this before. Stanford biologist and the population bomb author Paul Urich said, for a species that names itself Homo sapiens, the wise man were being incredibly stupid. This kind of sounds like something out of Endgame with Venom. Anyway, he continued the other He continued the other organisms on the planet are our life support system. You don't have to worry about them if you don't care about eating. If you don't care about breathing, you don't have to care about having fresh water and so on. You can just forget about it and die. Whatever. This just sounds like fear-mongering and war, like, yeah, typical CNN. Fear, fear, fear. To be honest, do I think we need to worry about the environment? Sure. Let's go through, let's put solar panels on people's houses and stuff like that. Right? It's a great thing for your power bills. It really is. But do I think that we should be living in igloos just because we're trying to save the environment? No, I think there has to be a compromise somewhere. And I really don't go believing in all this humans causing the global warming, which is now supposedly climate change. I do think a lot of it is literally coming up as just Earth's natural natural swing and Earth's natural heating and cooling system. Yeah, that's the thing, right? They go on about, for example, like Chip's saying, they go on about we need migrants because we have such low birth rates, so we need immigrants. But then all of a sudden the West has to stop with its population because we're going to be killing the environment. You know, it really is sounding like they just want to replace everybody, doesn't it? It's like, you know, if we get the West to stop populating, we can bring in a whole bunch of migrants. And if we want them to stop populating in the West, we can then just simply go through and talk about how it's bad for the environment. Meanwhile, we can then bring in the migrants that are actually the ones that are causing all the population in the first place. Okay, no, maybe not. But anyway. Jerry Falwell Jr. predicts even greater evangelical, I'm getting that wrong, support for Trump in 2020 than 2016. So, Jerry Falwell Jr., president of the Liberty University, predicted an increase in evangelical voters supporting President Donald Trump in 2020 presidential election, joining SiriusXM Breitbart News Sunday for an interview with host Matt Boyle. I think 63% of evangelicals would vote for him in 2016, and I think in 2020 it'll be even higher percentage, he explains, which makes sense. At the end of the day, Trump has, I don't want to say catered to that base, but you know, they have their praying sessions and stuff like that. They have their church sessions and stuff. I think the evangelical supporters for Trump would be very happy with what he's doing at the moment. So yeah, I would see that. I would definitely see that. You know, like they have their like, you know, praying sessions for like, you know, like the Mueller report and stuff like that. So yeah, there's been a few times when that sort of stuff's happened. So yeah. Nadler schedules vote to hold Barr in contempt for Congress. Okay. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler schedules a vote on Monday to hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt for Congress for not giving the committee's special counsel Robert Mueller's full unredacted reports. The New York Democrat gave Barr a deadline of 9 a.m. Monday to turn in the full report with no redactions, which many Republicans believe would be dangerous due to the possibility of sensitive material. I'm getting ads on my video. It's interesting. Which would be leaked. Nadler has now scheduled the congressional contempt vote for Wednesday, May the 8th at 10 a.m. And obviously we'll let you know how that goes. I'm guessing it's going to be a laughingstock, to be honest. But anyway. Look, at the end of the day, do I think this report should be fully redacted? Sure. If there's nothing in it that's going to harm future investigations, right? But at the end of the day, that's the reason they've got. And considering how big the report was and how depth the report was, we actually got a fair bit of it. I really was actually quite impressed with how much the report wasn't redacted. Look, sure, you know, we always want more. We always want more of the unredacted report, sure. But, to be honest, I was kind of happy with what's in there. So I really do think that this is desperate. This is just them desperately trying to cling to their collusion, delusion. You know, the Trump campaign's in on it. You know, the William Barr's a Russian spy or whatever they're claiming now. At the end of the day, I would say, yeah, it's more Russia delusion. But yeah. Kamala Harris claimed Abrams and Gillum would be governors if not for voter suppression. If you lose the election, just claim voter suppression, I suppose. Democrat president candidate Kamala Harris, without specific evidence, claims Stacey Abrams of Georgia and Andrew Gillum of Florida lost their gubernatorial race because of the voter suppression. Let's say this loud and clear, Harris said Sunday while speaking at the NAACP's 64th annual Fight for Freedom Fund dinner. Without voter suppression, Stacey Abrams would be the governor of Georgia. Andrew Gilliam would be the governor of Florida. Okay. Have you got any proof of this? Show me what proof or evidence you've got. Oh, wait, you don't have any because it's said without specific evidence. Look, is voter suppression a thing? Sure. Happens both times. Happens on both sides of politics. Do I think it's a real big problem with this? Probably not. I think this is more them being desperate. Look, I'm open to someone to change my mind about it, but this to me just seems like it's more trying to make an excuse about why you didn't win or why your friends didn't win, and that's what I'm taking it as. It's just that. But migrant paid $130 to rent boys to cross the border as family, says DOJ. Oof. The Guatemalan man allegedly paid a family the equivalent of $130 to rent their 8-year-old son so that he could go to the US as a family, federal prosecutors told a Tuscan grand jury in March. He also allegedly paid another $130, about 1,000 quetzals, to another person who created a false birth certificate for the child. A federal indictment report by Discontent.com, Mayor Venezuela, I'm getting that name wrong, Mancilla sought a Guatemalan child that he could use to get into the US because he was told that it'd be easier to get into the United States with a child. A federal agent stated in a criminal complaint, Venezuela, I'm getting that name wrong, crossed the border with the young boy as a part of a large group of 101 migrants who illegally crossed the border on February 18th, just west of the Lukeville port of entry, the Arizona news outlet reported. They made the illegal border crossing after traveling across Mexico by bus, the special agent stated. After being processed in the Tuscan sector, Homeland Security investigated, HSI, special agents began taking the man and began talking to the man and eventually learnt that he paid for one of the boys and the false documents used in the smuggling case. Very interesting that people are paying to have children cross the border so that they can go through, and yeah, very interesting indeed. Here it is here, $130 to rent across the border. Border Patrol chief says agencies has made over 30,000 arrests in the past 10 days. A US Border Patrol officer said his agency has apprehended more than 30,000 illegal immigrants on the southern border in the past 10 days. This is a challenge unlike anywhere we've faced before, Chief of Law Enforcement Operations Brian Hastings said Monday on Fox and Friends. We're up to 474,000 arrests so far this financial year, and just in the last 10 days alone, 33,000 arrests for us. He added that so far the facilities were not designed to handle this type of flow, or more importantly, this demographic, about 63% being family units and UACs, or unaccompanied alien children. Border Patrol Chief Carla Prospect called the numbers of arrests unsustainable and beyond capacity in a tweet on Saturday. And I'd agree with him. I would say, yeah, it's insane. It really, really is. I think the Democrats are doing this deliberately because at the end of the day, they're funding this sort of stuff with their open borders campaigns and stuff because they want to try and swing the election. And it does make me wonder if they're capturing 30,000 per month or the past 10 days, how many are they missing? That is what I'm really worried about. How many people are flooding into like Texas or California, for example, that are being missed? So, yeah, but just keep it up, I suppose. And keep processing them and sending them back, I suppose. I don't... Yeah. We need that wall. Trump really needs to build the wall. Anyway, last video, or last subject for the day. So it's not going to be a very long video today, guys. It's going to be quite short. It'll be about an hour, which is not bad, I suppose. Yeah. Sports League rejects transgender athlete claim to female weightlifting records. Oof, this is going to hurt. A weightlifting league has revoked rewards to a transgender weightlifter who claimed to have broken several women's weightlifting records. Our rules are the basis of separating genders for competition, are based on philological classification rather than identification, stated from Paul Bussey, president of the 110% Raw Powerlifting Federation. Bussey continued, on the basis of all the information presented to the board of directors of this particular case, the conclusions made is that the correct physiological classification is a male. Since the weightlifter's gender's classification for the purpose of our rules is not consistent with female, no female records will be broken by these lifts. It's man! Yeah, I remember that. The biological-based reversal was largely ignored by leading transgender activists, partly because few voters believe the transgender ideology claim that sexual discrimination, not biological, explains the difference between physical strength of men and women. Instead, leading transgender activists loudly argued that racism helps to explain the exclusion of South African runner Castel Seaman from women's athletic competitions. Yeah, not the fact that she has high testosterone levels, but anyway. Seaman is not transgender. It is a very rare intersex. She's actually born with both male and female genitals. She's born with a vagina, but she also has testicles. I don't know how that works. I really don't, but anyway. A person who has male genes and internal male sex organs. Okay, that's how it is. Okay. And therefore a much higher level of testosterone than female athletes. On May 1st, an internal sports authority concluded excluding her from competition because of her testosterone advantage. In response, Case Studio, an advocate at the ACLU, tweeted. Yeah. You know what happened there, squirrel. People would lose their stuff. TERFs, meaning transgender exclusionary radical feminists, and it's aimed at women who, say, biologically determines whether a person is male or female, would not a person's feeling of gender identity. Transgender activist says a person's sex should be determined by his or her gender identity. The transgender weightlift, Mary Gregory, had touted the apparent wins on April 28th and 29th, and we actually covered it then. She won, I believe, 9 out of 9 records. She won 9 out of 9 competitions and smashed 4 weightlifting records. So apparently, according to this, they're rejecting the records. So, yeah. I agree with them, actually. I think she shouldn't have won the records. So stupid. Yeah, it is. It is. I know. I don't think she should have won the records. I think that at the end of the day, the records should be biologically female. That's how you work it. You're biologically female, you're biological male. Do you have testosterone in your system? Yep, okay. You compete as male. You don't have biological testosterone in your system when you were born? Okay, you're female. Easy way to solve it. I don't know. That I've heard a lot of people saying there should be a transgender Olympics. How could they be proud of winning? Trip, because it comes down to winning at any cost. Yeah, Trip, it comes down to that's funny, squirrel. It comes down to winning at any cost. They don't care how they win. They just care because they won. That's all it is. Look at me. Look at me. I won this award. Yay for me, sort of thing. So, Yeah, they don't care. They don't care if they're screwing people out because of technically cheating. I would consider it cheating. I really, really would. But it's not like it's the... Well, this is the thing, right? It makes you wonder, is she competing because she knows she's going to win? Or is it that she really does identify as a woman and... I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, if you go putting them in their own Olympics, no one's going to watch it. No one's going to care. And then we're going to be branded a racist or a sexist or whatever because we don't care about transgender weightlifting or some shit. But can you imagine the outcry? Yeah. It's just winning at every cost, man. It really is. But that's about it, guys. That's the news for the day. There's not a lot, to be honest. We did upload a video yesterday regarding the banning of Ethe. I believe a few people have actually seen that video, actually. I'll post a link for that, guys, in case you guys haven't seen it. I've also got a video I was planning on working on tonight in regards to Tommy Robinson and the milkshake incident. So that'll probably go up later tonight for me. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah. I like doing the little videos, the little selected videos. They're quite fun. But I also do like doing my live stream. I don't know. Keep doing both. I don't know. I'll post that video for you guys so you can obviously check it out. In case you haven't noticed it. I know I don't necessarily get... Yeah, I think Ethe is a bit of a loudmouth, but in this situation, I don't think he really did anything wrong, to be honest. Ethe, here it is here. Yeah, the trolling. That's what I was... Yeah. Okay, so I did... Before we go, let's talk about this. I have to bring it up. I found it on Facebook. So I found this on Friday, or our Saturday, actually. Your Friday. Let's see if I can find... Here it is here. So we'll cover this before we go. So we got 2 stories on this. Thank you for reminding me too, by the way. Thanks, Trip. Alright. So let's talk about... Yeah, what you posted was the video to We Are Change, wasn't it? That's the video for We Are Change, yeah. Yeah, these are the actual articles themselves. So yeah. These came out, I think I saw them on Saturday, I think it was. Your Friday? No, I did a show. It would have been Sunday. Alright. Scott Morrison declares war on social media trolls. So Scott Morrison says re-elected coalition government would crack down on social media trolls. Kiss your campaign goodbye. A lot has changed in the world since young Scott Morrison went to school, in no small part thanks to the dawn of the internet. Get off of Facebook. Yeah, I want to talk about that in a sec, actually. School, there's a reason why I'm still on it. Speaking of the group of primary school-aged children at the New South Wales Central Coast, the Prime Minister was keen to make the fact known. When I went to school, you used to have to bring your homework in a book, he told the group on Sunday, because nothing says how out of touch he is than referring to that. Mr. Morrison spoke with young people in the hall in the Bayou Bay before receiving... Bayou Bay? Anyway, before they received the video lesson on cyber safety from the Australian education mascot, Healthy Harold. Wow, way to really cringe the kids. In the confines darkness of a blow-up tent. The lesson came as the coalition has vowed to keep Australian children and adults safer on the web by cracking down on online trolls. Under the proposed measures, people found guilty of using and carrying services to... People found guilty of using a carriage service to minister, harass, or cause offence would be jailed for up to 5 years instead of 3. New offences would also be created, capturing people to provide electronic surveillance to facilitate dealings with child abuse material, and those who groom third parties using the post or a carriage service to prosecute children for sexual activity. To procure children for sexual activity. Now, at the end of the day, obviously, going after the child pedophiles and stuff like that, I'm all for. Right? Totally get on board with that. But locking people up to 5 years for being a troll, I think is absolutely insane. Parents would also have access to new resources to help them navigate the challenging task of keeping their kids safe. After asking some children what they like to do online, with games ranking highly on the list, Mr. Morrison stressed they need to be as cautious on the internet as they would be in the kind of skate park that was outside the hall. What happens online on the internet can be just as dangerous as anywhere else. The skating theme continued as the Prime Minister left the hall as he is surrounded by the young attendees of the skating park. Soon he was signing the boards, helmets, and even a young man's cast. That says ScoMo, the Prime Minister's wife, Jenny, clarified for the child. Prime Minister, who was alongside Communications Minister Mitch van Ferrod and a Liberal MP for Robinson, Lucy Wicks, was in the electoral of Doorbell, currently held by Labor within the margin of 4.81%. So, Scott Morrison vows to put Facebook trolls in jail. Half of Australian politics looking at 5 to 10 years. So, if re-elected, Prime Minister Scott Morrison has vowed to put Facebook trolls in jail for up to 5 years, not stopping to realise how many trolls there are in Australian politics. ScoMo doesn't even look far to his first jailbait victims. Liberal candidate Jeremy Hearn, Peter Clenn and Jessica Wellen all had posted that ranged from sexist to racist, so there's 3 for Silverwood right there. One Nation's Steve Titties, Dixon's strip club footage, and Ross McDowell's own breast-obsessed posts would also see them downing the orange jumpsuit. Labour's Wayne Kirkwood posted that Jews are in fact the shape-shifting lizards. Holy dooly. Followed by Luke Chrisley's rape jokes would see them dropping the soap in the communal shower. And at least but not last, Brendan Burrell's full house of sexist, racist and anti-Muslim posts would put him away for 5 to 10, with little likelihood he'll show any good behaviour. When all of this pointed out to ScoMo, he said, "Yeah, I didn't really think of this one through. What I meant to say is that online trolls who are not politicians would face criminal charges like every other law on the books. We politicians remain exempt." Good to know, ScoMo. Good to know. Yeah, I hope he's joking about that last part. But anyway. But look, at the end of the day, obviously, do I think that they'll go through and that they'll attack their own for this? No, I think this is going to be used to attack people like me, Satellite, and other people in Australia who are dissenting points or dissenting opinions. Look, at the end of the day, it's just the way that the Liberals are becoming more authoritarian. You know, like I've said before, the Liberals or Scott Morrison's crew, that's supposedly what you'd be considered conservatives, generally aren't conservative. They are left-leaning. We have the Greens and Labor, who are far left. We have the Nationals and the Liberals, who are centre-left. And then we have on the right, we have Pauline Hanson, who I would say is probably actually more centre, but say she's right. We got Conservatives on the right. We got Peter Dutton and all these sort of guys. But look, at the end of the day, yeah, it's those parties are only new. Those ones on the right. For all ages now, we've only had Labor and Liberals. Pauline Hanson doesn't seem to win enough support to change anything radically. So Australia's just deeply sliding into more of the leftist abyss. Hopefully this election, which is literally in a few days, hopefully that will change. It's about a week away, actually. Week and a bit. Just under 2 weeks away. So you guys are probably going to be hearing a bit about it lately. I'm probably going to be covering the politics. But apart from that, yeah, look, at the end of the day, yeah. I think this is absolutely stupid. I think the Liberals need to go the other direction. They need to stop going after this whole shutting down freedom of speech, shutting down trolls on social media. You know, what's a troll? You know, what exactly is he defining as a troll? You know. Yeah. But apart from that, guys, that's probably going to be it for the day. Let me know what your thoughts are in any other topics or any of the topics that we've covered. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are and we'll have a discussion about it. Apart from that, guys, obviously big thanks to everybody who was in the video today, who's jumped in the chat. Trip, Squirrel, I've seen you guys in here a bit. Wolfie was in here for a bit. So thanks, guys, obviously, for everybody who has chatted. And apart from that, guys, obviously I'll see you tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat station. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, have a conversation in the comments, and we'll looking forward to that thoughtful discussion, as Matt Christensen would say. But yeah, apart from that, guys, I'm going to go and watch the rest of Milo. I think it's still going, actually. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the chat for that, probably. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Bye!